It's time to dive beneath the surface and into the minds and hearts of your favorite celebrities and pop culture icons. Welcome to Up and Adam.
Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Knoll. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. But for those of you who do know me, you know that that's not why we're always here, right? Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. And with that, let's jump right in. Okay, guys, so we're back to talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, the current season, and Sutton Stracke is really trying to hold on to that diamond. So Sutton Stracke has had quite the season already. There's been a lot of tears, a lot of emotions, and one of the feuds going on this season is between her and Crystal Kung Minkoff. Now, Crystal Kung Minkoff said that she's crazy, she's manic. She called her a few other things, but she also said she felt violated the very moment that Sutton walked in and saw her naked and didn't walk right back out. She just kind of chuckled and said, "Ooh, what are you doing in here?" And it became something that lasted episodes and episodes, which finally, by the end of it, we were all done with it anyways, just to be fair. I don't think everybody's watching this season for Sutton and Crystal. I think everybody's watching to see how this Erica scandal unfolds. But with Sutton, we know that she was brought on by Rinna last season. She wasn't a diamond holder, but she was technically supposed to be. Now, after not being able to film with her kids, they let her know, Bravo and the network, sorry, we can't move forward and give you a full-time role. We're going to have to make you a friend of the show. Now, this season, she's filmed with one of her daughters. Okay, but that daughter's of age, so that's probably why she was able to film. But I really don't think we've seen the other kids as of yet. Now, we do hear a little bit more as to what kind of mom she is. No boys, no dating, no certain things. And she's a good old Southern mom, and she has certain requirements. She's not your typical Beverly Hills. Again, she was brought on by Rinna, but now it seems like she's throwing jabs at Rinna, or at least her family, for their relationship dynamics. She was recently a guest on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen, and Andy Cohen asked her a question about Amelia Gray and Scott Disick's relationship. One of the things that's interesting about this season is fans are slamming Rinna because they feel like she doesn't really have a storyline. Well, she kind of does. She's launching Rinna Beauty, so that's part of her storyline. But then also she's talking a hell of a lot about Scott Disick and Amelia Gray's relationship. She's like, oh my gosh, what do I call Scott? Do I call him Lord? How do I address him? This is crazy. It's weird. Okay. All right. Well, now you've put that out in the universe. So of course Sutton is going to clap back at it when she's asked a question by Andy when he said, do you think the couple will go the distance? Meaning Amelia and Scott. She said, no, 0%. Okay, Sutton, we see you, Shady Boots. Now they're saying that a rep for Rinna declined to comment on, anything that Sutton said, but at the end of the day, Sutton is the first person, a part of the cast, who has talked negatively about the relationship. She doesn't think the relationship's going to last. And oddly enough, when they were sitting there, Rinna came over to Sutton's place and, they're talking and we get to meet her daughter. They recommended, let's get our girls together for a play date. I don't think Sutton's daughter, and this is just me guessing, I don't think Sutton's daughter and Amelia and Delilah have the same interests in common. It feels like Sutton's daughter is very, focused on school and going abroad and learning new languages. And it feels like Rinna's daughters, which no shade, they want to build their brands, be public figures, build an empire. And that's pretty much exactly what they're doing. It might not be as fast as a Gigi Hadid and Bella, but they're still doing it. The sisters are getting more and more famous. They're launching different brands. They're brand ambassadors for amazing companies. And it just seems like if you follow their social media, one thing after another is coming out. Now with Amelia, she definitely made, if you're talking about this from a business perspective, by her dating Scott Disick, it was smart because it's just more publicity for her. Sure, there's an outstanding age gap, but I'm not one to comment on that, and even Erica Girardi said the same thing. Her and Tom had such a huge age gap. My fiance and I, we have a 10-year age gap. So I'm not one to comment on an age gap, and I think anything's possible. But for Scott, he's had sort of an interesting all over the place past. He battled with sobriety. We saw him on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. punching a mirror. We've heard about alleged infidelities. We've seen him get pissed off. And if you think about it from a parent's perspective, is that necessarily the person you would want to be with your child who just became an adult a few years ago? Yeah, probably not. But Amelia is still an adult at the end of the day. She's going to do and date whatever she wants, and that's just it. Now, even though Sutton was the first one to kind of speak negatively on it, Kyle Richards kind of sounded like she spoke negatively on it too. She said about Scott, he's just too damn old. He's 37 with 3 kids. What would Amelia want to do with someone like Scott? But also, just to be fair, that ties Amelia's name to the Kardashian name in some sense. Even though he's not a Kardashian, he's still very much so affiliated, and I'm sure he's going to be on their new series on Hulu, which they signed, I believe it was over $100 million deal for. Keeping Up with the Kardashians is by no means over. It's just going to be a reboot, a revamp, and I'm sure Scott Disick will be a part of that. Now, if Scott Disick's going to be a part of that and their relationship is still going between Scott and Amelia, I'm sure Amelia will either be talked about or featured as well, which again gives her more publicity. People will start following her just for the simple fact they want to know what she's doing, what she's wearing, how her relationship is with Scott. We've seen it. We know how this plays out. So business-wise, that's why I'm saying it's smart. Now, is it an authentic relationship? I don't know. I'm not in bed with them. I don't go on dates with them. I don't sit there through their conversations. So really, who knows what this is? Lisa Rinna did say it's a what the moment because he is, 37 with 3 kids and she's only 19. I mean, it's almost a 20-year age gap. But that's why I said I'm not commenting on this. And Harry Hamlin doesn't really have any right to comment on it as well, because he, married a much older woman who was 14 years older. And, and sure, it didn't work out. They still had a kid together. So how do you tell your kid this isn't good for you? You can't really, you can have an opinion. You're still the parent, but they're going to look at you and be like, well, you did it. Okay. Now, of course, we know that the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills did not air this week, but there is so much that's coming up. It's going to continue to unfold. And fans were also speculating as to why it did not air. Was it because the Family Karma, finale was on, so they wanted to focus on that and make sure the ratings were good for that? Was it because they had a little bit of editing to do? And we've seen that before. We saw it on Below Deck a few seasons ago when there was an employee, a deckhand, who had, racist remarks that were tweeted out, and they had to go back through and edit the whole season and eliminate anything that he was in as much as possible. Sure, we saw him kind of coming and going sometimes, but he went from having a very prominent role to really not a role at all. Now, I'm sure he will never be back on the show, but when it comes to what's going on with Erica, if some things have been said or some things are out there and have been filmed and editors went back through and they're like, oh, maybe this isn't a good idea, I'm sure they'll definitely take it out. Why wouldn't they? Now, my biggest question here is, how are you feeling about Sutton? And do you think she's getting a little too big with it, like for her britches? Is she getting a little bit too used to being a diamond holder already? Because honestly, the way that she's coming in, she has conflict, she has resolution, she's, getting in an uproar. What am I jealous of? Your ugly leather pants? She's bringing the drama for us. I think I'm kind of liking her for the show. And my loyalty is with Sutton a little bit, only because she was one of the first people when I started my channel who gave me an interview. She invited me out for Family Feud. She was very sweet to me. So even though watching her on the show, I'm like, Sutton, is this something to be that emotional about? I'm not Sutton. I don't want to tell her how to feel, and I don't want to sit here and pick her apart for those feelings. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I also want to know what you guys think about Sutton commenting on Scott Disick and Amelia Gray's relationship, and when being asked, do you think they'll go the distance, saying 0%, and Lisa Rinna's rep not wanting to respond to the comments. Do you think Lisa Rinna is pissed off? Because at the end of the day, Lisa Rinna was the one who introduced Sutton to the girls and gave her this platform in some regard. Bravo gave her the platform, but Lisa Rinna brought her in. So she brought her into the race. Sutton won the race. Just is what it is. Guys, there's so much that you have to comment on. And before we go, I just want to say, and I've said this a couple times in my videos today, and we're launching a new weekly campaign with Housewife quote merch. So this week it is Who is Hunky Dory. We started with a sweater, and then yesterday everyone started buying this sweater. And I was thinking in my head, actually, I have to give credit to mom. Mom called me and she's like, a sweater, Adam, it's summertime. We need premium tank tops, women tank tops, men tank tops. It's summer. And I was like, oh, okay, mom, you're right. So I'll be adding those today. And then every 7 days, we will be switching it up with a new Housewives quote and seeing what you guys think about it. I'm so excited for this. I think it's going to be a fun way to just show how much we love the Housewives. And it's fun to watch Housewives in the new episodes in your new merch. So with that, if you haven't, again, go ahead and comment below, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching Up and Adam.